Recording.
There we go,
Right,
sir. I
we
see it.
are recording. The session is being recorded so that the students can come back and have a look at today's lesson. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen again.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry, sir.
Yes.
So the link for the class, where do I find it on Blackboard? Because now I'm using it on my phone and I see, I don't know if it's my connection or what, but it's a bit softer on my phone, but I can't find the link on my laptop on Blackboard.
Are you talking
On the
about this
laptop?
link right now that we're busy with?
Excuse me, sir?
If you go into Blackboard
Are you
Collab, yes, Eddie.
Yes,
Are you referring to the link that we're busy with right now, sweetie pie?
excuse me, sir. It's really soft. I don't know why, but I can't hear what so saying. It's
Now I'm
really soft.
asking you, you asked for the link. Is it the link of this session that you're looking for?
The link is on the
Of this collaboration session link. What link are you talking about, sweetie?
So should I find the link on collaboration?
Yes, if you
can
go to Blackboard Collaboration, you will find the link there.
on the left hand side, you scroll down on the menu and you will see Blackboard collaboration, and inside there should be this link.
Okay, students, please mute your microphones. Did you manage to find it? Okay, thank you. The microphones are muted. There was a little bit of confusion today. I think from Monday we will be sorted. We will send out instructions and we will send out one link. We had a bit of confusion today, but most of the students are here.
Sorry, sir.
And yes?
Sorry, sir.
I'm listening.
Sorry, sir.
I'm listening.
I'm just asking, like, about. Yes, I'm asking about the exam and assessment in semester 1.
Yes.
I did all the assessments. I did all the assessments, include the exams, but I can't see all my marks, like, for all the work that I did.
Did you look on
know.
SOS? Did you look on SOS?
Yeah, I can't.
Okay,
on
they will still
SOS.
show up. They will still show up on SOS. But which group are you?
I was in mainstream, but I received an email. I used to be in group H, but now they said I'm in group A.
Okay. If you check on Blackboard under My Grades, you are going to find your marks there.
Okay, sir.
Okay. If you're still struggling afterwards, you can WhatsApp Mr. Pretorius and he can assist you.
Okay, sir. And because I did not miss any assessment or any exam, means I'm not eligible to write the SIC test, if I'm not mistaken.
No. If you didn't miss any test or any exam, the SIC test is only 2 or 3 students that is writing that SIC test. And they have doctor certificates. Okay. Does that answer your question? Okay. What I'm going to do is today is basically an introduction to Access. I have already had an introduction last semester at the end of the course, there are some videos there that you can go back and watch. There is an introduction to Access and an explanation that you need it on a laptop. We are moving into the practical part of the course where the videos are, and the videos of the lessons are going to become extremely important, because there's only the lessons that we post on Blackboard that are there to practice. There is no textbook per se. There is a textbook, but it's in your study guide, but it's going to be used mostly for next year. So to make it easy for you, we have posted activities for you to do. And today there are 3 that I'm going to have a look at. You may use Access, I think 2007, 2012, 2016, and Office 365. They will all work for you. They might look a little bit different, but they are all going to work for you in order to cope with the Access section that we're doing before we move on to Excel. So what I'm going to do today is, this is an introduction again to Access. I notice some students have already posted work on Blackboard, and that is fantastic, those that are familiar with Access. But for those that are not familiar with Access, I am going to go to my PC, and we need to be using a PC. If you don't have Access, you're going to need to make a plan to get hold of it. Maybe a relative, maybe a friend, maybe somebody who has a laptop with Access on it. So I'm going to click here, Start, and I type there Access to make sure it's on my machine. And this is Access 365 that is opening. And we've been speaking in the first semester quite a lot about databases. And Access is the one that we are using for only about 2 weeks. It's a small section of the course, but we teach you 4 things in Access. Access is a single user database, so it's not for multiple people sharing. It's a single user that can use it. And inside Access, we create tables, we create queries, we create forms, and we create reports. So that is what I will be going through over the next 2 weeks. It can be a little bit tricky, and I'm going to, if we extend it to 3 weeks, it's not a problem. I'm going to try and go slowly with you guys so that you can follow. I've opened Access, and the first thing that I'm going to open is a blank database. So this is the first database that we are going to create. Blank database. I need to give it a name. So before I go there, I need to just go into Blackboard, and I'm going to download here Access Table Exercise 1 and open that file. Very simple file, creating a table. So it's saying step 1, open MS Access. Select, click on blank desktop database, which we have done, and you name the file, which is the database itself. Go back to my screen. Back into Access. I've got Access open twice here. And where it says blank database, I'm going to give it that name. So your surname, your student number. So what we do
to disturb you,
actually,
sir. Sorry to disturb you. I just want to be sure if ever I'm not the only one. Are you sharing your screen? Because I can't see your screen.
let's have a look. Yes, I am sharing my screen. Mr. Pretorius, can you still see my screen?
I can see your screen, sir. You in the blank presentation, and you are going to create the presentation, the database now.
Yes, I can see
Okay,
it.
okay, okay. Most of the students can
Okay,
see
just
it.
need
What
to log
happens
out.
Go out.
is if your connection is slow, sometimes it takes a little while to show up. So
Just
can
log
you
in and
still
log
not
out.
see it? Maybe what you can do is reconnect. Okay, so I've given the database a name, and then there is a create button here. So we will click on create to create our first database called that. And we have here in front of us what is basically an empty database. It normally does come with one table. I'm going to delete that. Oh, I need to close it. So I'm going to right click here and I'm going to choose close. Okay. And under access here, please make sure that you are showing all access objects or you will not be able to see everything that we want to work with. Okay, now if I go back to the activity, I have named the database and I've clicked on create. Now I need to create, it says click on the view tab and save the table as. We haven't created the table yet, so there's a step missing here. So we need to create a table called movie staff details. So what I'm going to do is I go back to access and I go here at the top, create table. And there is my first table. I can rename this by right-clicking on it. Doesn't like to do that when it's open. So we will rename this after we have added, I think we rename later on after we have added some information to the table. Okay. In the field name and data type and field properties, I'm going to show you what that is there. Apply the field settings as below and an appropriate ID key and save your table. When we save the table, once there's information in it, it will ask me for the name. Okay, and this is what our table is going to look like. So where do we go from here? I can just close this one because it's confusing everybody. Okay. In my table, there are two views in which we work in. And I think this is one of the things that confuses the students is the two views that we work in. We have design view and data sheet view. Design view is the one we use to create the table. I'm going to right click on my table there and I'm going to change to design view and it's asking me the name of the table now. So things are not necessarily in intuitive order. It takes a bit of practice. Okay, that is table staff details. And I tell it OK, and you will see there on the left, table staff details. Now, if I slow down and we go and we have a look at what our finished table will look like. We have here the headings, which is what we call fields. So each one is called a field, and that is what we are going to create now. Each line, when it's completed, is called a record. So at the moment, we need to create the structure of this table. So we have to have a look here. I can make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Whoops, that's very big. Okay, let's make him a little bit smaller. Now, in my design view, I need to create these and I need to choose a data type. Now, the data type, if I can explain to you guys, is and you will see it now, is things like text, number, date, short date, long date, currency, and we will be using that in Excel as well. So let's go and take a look. The first heading that I've got, the first field is SKNMI. Going back into my database, I'm going to type here SKNMI. And never use this auto number. We don't use it till next year. So auto number is going to confuse you and it's going to throw you out if you leave it as auto number. Just change that to number. How long is that number? Well, we go back and we have a look at that, and it is one digit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to allow that number to be 3 letters long. Format, decimal places, input, mask, caption, default value, validation rule. Mr. Pretorius, where's the number here again? Eddie?
Yes, sir. Sorry, my mic is on. What you're looking for, number, long, the format, isn't it?
Format. I'm going to leave it here as 25 long. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Digits.
So
yeah,
it will not let me do more than 25 digits under the format of the number. So we will save that with number. We need to go to the next field. The next field is branch. Then we've got last name and first name. So I'm going to type it in here. Branch. We'll get there now. Last name. Let me fill them all out for now before we choose the data types. Email address, job title, business phone. So email address. Job title.
Sorry, sir.
Yes.
Sorry, sir.
yes, we're
I'm
listening, my
listening.
friend.
I'm just asking. I'm a bit confused about what you are feeling now is in horizontal, but what you're looking at is in vertical.
Yes, you're going to see now how it changes when we change to data sheet view.
You see, my
Okay, so
friend,
just
we have,
when we do it in design view, it's vertical. When we finish doing this, you will see it the other way.
we're
So
working
what
to,
we are doing is we are designing it at the moment, and it does show vertical. I know it's confusing.
Thank
we
you,
have
sir.
2 types of views. We have a front view, which is this that Mr. Smart is showing. which is the data sheet view, and then Mr. Smuts is working in currently this view, which is the design view. So in order for us to make sure that our data view looks like the annexure, for example, in the design view, the current view, this is where all the edits and the formats take place in order for us to see the data sheet view. All right.
You will see how it's going to change just now. It's going to change shortly. Okay, so we are designing the table, and it does come up horizontal. Don't let that confuse you. Okay, the branch is text, and I am happy with short text because the branch is text. The last name, okay, it says choose an appropriate field. So under short text, if you can see here, they have the field size, and it's 255 letters long. That's a bit long. I'm going to change that to 30 long. Last name, text as well. I'm going to change that to 30 long. First name, there's many of them that are text here. To save some space, I'm changing that to 30. It won't allow me to make that larger than 30. Job title. Oh, field size, it didn't come out there, 30. I'm making all of them not 255. I'm making them 30, which will allow me to save some space in the database, and it will not allow you to type in a name that is longer than 30 letters long. I'm going to add in one here to help you guys, or I'll create it in a different table, but let's put it in here for the sake of interest. And I'll go here, date employed. Now, under the data type, that is going to be date. So I would drop down there and choose here date and time. So Access is very accurate. And if you put something in a date time format, that's what it's going to accept, and only that. So I'm choosing date time. So for the ID, we've got number, then we've got short text, then we've got date time for the date employed. Now it's asking me what type of date, and we do have different types of dates. So be very careful. It looks like it's blank. I'll show you again. Under format, you go right to the end here and you click, and then you will get your options. This does come up in the examination and the test. And I'm going to choose here medium date. So I've told it the date employed is date time, and it's medium date. Now we're finally ready to move to the other view. I am in design view, and I'm designing the table with all of these parameters. Right click on the title bar, on the title heading, and I choose save. Now I have created all of my fields, but there's no information in here. So how do we put the information in? I'm going to right click here. There's the design view, which is horizontal, I know, sorry, vertical, and the data sheet view. And now that should be a little bit more familiar with what we are doing here. Okay, so we have created our headings or our fields. Now there's going to be a little bit of work here to put in the branch. The first one in the record is SK Waterfront. The second part of that record is Freehafer, and it's Nancy. So last name. First name is Nancy. And I need her email address and her job title. So I go back and have a look at my example. Nancy at skwaterfront.com, and she's a sales representative. So what I'm effectively doing here is creating the first record that we are storing in the database. The business phone 021 461 7275. 021 421 7675. 021 460 7175. Yes?
I lost the
I'm
connection and
listening.
I just log in now. I lost the connection, so I don't know. I'm the one who asked about the horizontal and vertical, so I just came in and it's already changed. I don't know if you can
Okay, I'm going
repeat
to
for
show
me.
you again when I've finished capturing this record. I will show you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Date employed. I'm going to put here 02 01 2020. Now, when I click tab, or you can just click down here. No, you get, yeah. So that is my first record. The number, I made a mistake there, is 1. Or not, I made a mistake. I haven't entered it yet. I'm looking for my arrow pad on the laptop. Number 1 and record number 2. I don't know why this 25 is showing up. Access seems to be fussy. Number 1, 23, 24, 25. I am going to change my view. The person that is asking the question, right click, save, right click, design view. Okay, and
But
it's giving me
Mr.
a bit of a
Smuts,
headache. Yes.
maybe change it to auto number and see what happens.
Auto number can cause a problem, but it's fine. I'll use auto number for now. I said don't use it, but let's use auto number for
As I
now.
said, you see, that is what's going to happen here. I see.
It's not allowing me to change it. Yeah. Let's see if we can change it to short text. Yeah. Short text will work as
Let's try
well.
short text.
So you
Let's try
can
short text.
use text for a number, students. It's not a problem. You choose the one that works applicable to you. I think the most important one was date time. And I'm going to save this.
You see, Mr. Smuts, what also happens is that different Excel access packages. You know, you have the 365, you have the Access 16, you have the Access 19, you have the Access 13. So different, you know, it's small little settings that will change.
But it's okay. We can get around this one by using text for a number. I was in design view. The question I had recently, I'm going to change to data sheet view. And there we go. It says 1 and 2, what I entered in there. So even though it's a number, I have chosen text in order to get it to work. That is okay. That is acceptable. I'm not going to choose every record that we're doing because we're just showing, making the first basic table, and then I'm going to show you what we call a relationship. There is one thing I did miss in data in design view, and I'm going to go back to design view, and you will see here at the top a little key, and we have something here that says primary key. Now I can click on branch and I can make that the primary key. I can click on last name and I can make that the primary key. I'm going to go back to SKNMI and I'm going to make that the primary key. Now let me explain this primary key a little bit to you guys. A primary key is a unique identifier that identifies a record. And I'm going to give you an example now. This is employee number 1. You can't have 2 employee number 1s. You have to have employee number 1, employee number 2, employee number 3. Now, how do we choose these primary keys? The primary key, this guy on the left, is identifying the rest of our record. Number 2, when I fill it in, will identify the rest of that record. So if we look at a primary key in a more complicated database, how does the government know you? Well, they know you by your ID number, and no 2 people have the same ID number. So that will be regarded as a good primary key to identify you, because from that primary key, they can tell everything about you, your address, your tax number, your banking accounts, where you live. How does the varsity know you? They know you from your student number. From your student number, they will be able to tell you from the database what subjects you are registered for, and whether you've paid your fees or not, whether you're an NSFAS student, and so on and so forth. So the primary key is very important to identify the records that will fall under that primary key. And I think the one thing we want to know is that it is unique. And I think for the purposes of this course and the first year course, the primary key can generally be the first one. So I'm going to go back to design view. And it's typically a number. So last name or first name would be a bad primary key. Why would I say it would be a bad or inappropriate primary key? Well, 2 people can have the same last name and 2 people can have the same first name. So that's not a very good choice as a primary key, because it is not uniquely identifying that record. Is everybody okay with me with that? Guys?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm going to capture another record before I make another table and talk about these relationships. So I'm going to just enter one more record.
Sorry,
I'm going to go back to, yes?
My question is, in the, you've created 7 or 9 arrows. So for example,
Yes.
I'm practicing and then I forgot one arrow between between the arrows. I forgot one, and I already put it like this. how am I going to re-put another one to make it right? I don't know if you understand my question.
Okay, yes, I
Like,
understand what you're saying.
like
You
branch
can
and
go.
last name or first name, and I forgot to write first name. What am I going to
All
do
you
in
do,
order to read it?
okay, you go to Design View. You can right-click there and insert row. Why is it not letting me insert row? Let me save this. Depends on the access you're using. Right-click, insert a row. Do you see what I've done? Does that answer your question?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so you move to the left here where you have a little arrow and you choose the insert row underneath or on top of it. And then you will have
And,
your extra space.
and if you want to delete maybe the extra one, same thing.
Yeah, right-click, delete row.
Oh.
So with Access, I think the one thing I want to mention is there's a lot of right-clicking. Normally when we work with other programs, it's left-click, 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 left-click. But with Access, there's a lot of right-clicking on things. So I think to explore the program, don't be shy to move around till you get different things and right-click, and you will see you get different options. Okay, I'm going to go back to my datasheet view. It says you must always first save the table. That's no problem. Do you want to save the table? And I'm going to go back here. I am not doing all of this in the lesson. I'm just going to capture the next one. NM Athlone, Sensini, Andrew. Okay, oh man. NM Athlone, Sensini. I think it was Andrew. Take a look at the exercise again. Andrew at nmathlone.com. It is a bit of work entering the data. I know that. And I think that's the most time consuming. Andrew is a sales representative. So I'm going backwards and forwards here to my database. Andrew is also a sales representative. Let's have a look at his phone number. 021-697-2882. 021-697-2882. 021. And now I want to show you something about the date. I chose there a medium date in my design view. Now I'm going to put it in a different format here. I'm going to go 01 September 2019. Now Access is clever enough to understand that it's allowing me to put in the date in any format. When I press tab here to go to the third record, do you see how it changed the date? The format that I specified, because I specified in my design view a medium date, and it will automatically change it to a medium date. I am going to save my table. You guys during the exercise would need to enter all of these records. Yes, do you need to enter all of them? Yes, you certainly do.
Mr. Smart,
Yes.
sorry to disturb you. just two things, if you can show them, sir. The auto fit setup with the full
Oh, yes.
sentences and moving a column from one column in between another column, because some of them said, is it important for the numbers to be on the left hand side? So if you can just click and drag, you know what I mean, on the
Okay,
data
yes, yeah,
sheet
there's
view.
two things here. Okay,
Thank you,
students,
sir.
if we have a look here, two good points by Mr. Pretorius. Do you see I cannot see the full email address? I would go to the top here, and it's quite difficult. You've got to move your mouse very slowly. Still not big enough.
Or
I'm
you
going to
can
show
double
you
click, so
two
click and
ways to
drag.
do this. So I'm clicking and dragging. The other way, if it is too small to see all the data, I go between the columns and I double click. And again, double click. Is everything clear? Yes, 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 yes. So I am going between the columns, and you can either drag or you can double click. Now the next one does come up in the examinations, and we're going to give you a table, for example, that looks like this, and we would actually like the first name first and the last name second. You can just click on that. Eddie, am I going to have to do this in design view?
No. I'm sure you can click on one, click on the last name, sir, and you can drag it over into the other one. Click, yeah, and drag it. Okay, I see the feature's not working on your axis.
Yeah, this is the latest 365. So let
I'm
me
sure
try it in design view.
maybe you can move it around there, then it will appear. I see what you're saying. See if you can cut it.
This changed from last year.
Mm.
You
Click,
see
am I
that?
clicking this? Now you can cut him. Now you don't want to
No,
delete
it's
it.
asking me to delete it.
You don't want to delete it.
Yeah, we may have to remove this from the examination because they've removed that feature.
Let me just check. Oh, I will have to look on my axis where you can click and drag. You can move the last name in between.
Yes, yes, which
You know
is
what
what
I'm
I'm
saying?
trying to do.
Mm,
Yeah. Let me save the table and try once more. Otherwise, that will need to be modified in the
yeah,
examination.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay, I'm
On
gonna
the older
minimize
versions
quickly.
of Access, it will work.
I'm gonna minimize
Okay,
quickly
just
and try it on my axis here quick. Just hold on. All right, so I'm gonna mute
okay.
quick.
Okay, students, normally what we do is you click on branch and you drag it above, in front of the next one, and it will swap the first name and the last name. Or I would click on last name. Hang on, I'm getting a black line now. There we go. It worked. Yo, that was complicated. It's changes in Access. So I want the first name first. I click on it and drag it till
There
I
we
get
go.
that little black line. Okay, they've changed this, Eddie.
It's a
So
different way
when I
of
see
doing it.
that little black line, I
And you
let
release your
go,
finger.
and it has swapped the first name and last name around.
Okay. But it is
Okay,
working. It
that
does.
one.
That feature is there. Okay.
So the feature is there, but I think I must mention to the students, if you're using Office or Access 2007 or 2000, 2012, 2013, 2018, it's easier to drag it across. It looks like in Office 365, you have to do it the way I've just done it. So what we have done is we've reordered this. I would like email address to be after job title. So I'll click on email address. Doesn't want to work now. Your Access is giving me a headache.
It's fine, sir. I'm sure the students will figure it out, but you click and drag on those headings and it will work. So that is how you want to move a column from one column to another column. And don't forget to save.
I'm just checking something here.
Okay, sir. So you see, students, as you can see, there's different access packages, but the basics are more or less the same. But there will be some things that might change. And if we look at the exam, we will work around a mark where we will give a benefit of the doubt due to based on the different access packages used. But most of the basics are there. All right, students.
You just in the normal in the Office 2007, you just drag and drop, and it works fine. So I think depending on which one you're using, students, you need to just explore a little bit how your specific version of Access is working. Okay, I'm going to save this table.
Thank you, sir.
And don't leave everything open as you work. It's going to confuse you, especially when you have 5 or 6 tables and queries and forms and reports, and you leave everything open here, and then you'll end up working on the wrong thing. I'm going to right-click.
It's going to make them confused.
And I'm going to choose close. My table is there. I can double-click on him, and he comes back, and I can add some more information to that table. Not a problem. Right-click, close. Okay, now I am going to digress from the exercise because I want to show you something different that is talking about relationships. And Microsoft Access is called a relational database. If you go back through your course where they explain the different types of database, I think we had hierarchical, flat file, there's various different kinds, and the ones that are used today are typically all relational. And that is because there is a relationship between the tables, and I will explain why that relationship is there now. Let's first go and create a relationship between 2 tables. But I have a small problem. I need 2 tables to create this relationship. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go create table. There is my new table. I'm going to go, as usual, to design view. And it's asking me for the name of the table. Well, this is staff details. I'm going to call this table salaries. And I'll make it a short one. Just maybe 3 columns. Okay. I'm going to change this here to text or short text. And I'm going to put here, this is SKNMI. The next one we can have is hours worked. And for that, I can actually choose number. Should work, shouldn't be a problem. Okay, because if you try to put text in there, it's not going to accept it. So I'm choosing numbers so that it's actually almost forcing you to put a number in there. It's helping you not make mistake. Hours worked, rate per hour. Let's leave it at that. Hours worked, rate per hour, month. Month, cut-off date.
Sorry, sir.
Yes.
Rate per hour and month cutoff dates. Is that gonna be a number?
It's going to be a date. So I'm choosing 3 things here. So rate per hour, let's have a look.
In the data type is not gonna be numbers.
Yeah, this one is going to be currency because it's the rate per hour.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you with
See,
me?
when we're talking rate per hour, we're talking rands. And when we're talking rands, we're talking currency. In other words, South Africa, we must work in rand. So how much are you getting per hour? 150 rand an hour. So what's your rate? 150 an hour in rand value. So we work most in currency with 2 decimal places. All right.
Okay, I can go back to currency and we can have a look at that one. Default value. Decimal places is automatic. I'm going to choose there 2 decimal places. So your currency will be in rands and 2 decimal places for the cents. Did you see what I did there?
That
I
makes
went
sense,
to
my friend.
decimal places. I clicked down and I chose 2 under the data type.
Why do we choose 2? Student, why do we choose 2? Because we're working in rands and cents. So it's like, for example, 150 rand and 50 cents, the last 2 decimal places per hour. The right in this example. You get me?
I feel
Anyway,
you.
sir.
There's
Okay.
something
Yes,
you
get you.
to show to chat for me next.
Okay, I'm going to choose date and time again for the month cutoff date, which is, in fact, I'm not going to call it month, I'm going to call it claim, where they fill out a claim form. Date and time. But now the format, I'm going to choose something different to what I chose before.
A long
Let's
date
have a
or
look
a
which
short
one
date.
works. I'm going to choose a long date because I'll show you how it changes later on. I'm going to leave this one as 4 fields. Keep it simple. Right
Okay,
click,
sir.
save. I'm going to open my 2 tables so that I've got my SMNKI. The first one is SK Waterfront. Or let's have a, yeah. No, SKNMI is 1. Sorry, my mistake. SKNMI 1. Hours
Student,
worked.
can you see that Mr. Smart is working now in 2 tables, eh? All right.
One is
Hours
missing, one is powered up. Okay, only 2. The third one is not on.
Her rate per, what was that?
Just repeat yourself, student.
Was that a question?
No, that was not a question, sir. Mr. Pitora said we are seeing you are working with 2 tables, and then I said yes, we are.
Okay,
Yes.
correct.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Now,
my
under her rate per hour, let's put in, what do accountants earn, guys? You're going to be
Give them
accountants.
300
What do
rand,
they
sir.
earn? 300 Rand per hour. Yeah.
Give them a 300 rand, sir.
I'm just typing the 300. Do you see that, students? When I go
see
to the next one, it automatically puts in the 300 for me.
With the decimal places. Can you see, students? That's the
And then the
importance
month
of the
cut off.
design view. Anyway, sir.
So we specified currency and design view, and it puts in automatically there. In fact, let's put in here, I'm going to change it. I need to delete all of this.
350.20 cents or something.
Yeah, I want to do something like that.
I get you, sir. Or 50
so
cents
that
or
they can see
something.
the decimal places. 350.40.
There we go, something like that.
And it puts in the currency by itself. Now the month cutoff is normally at the on the 25th for the next month. So I'm going to put 25/06/2021.
Now watch what happens.
Now when I go to the next record, what has happened here? Okay.
Tell them again, sir.
Now, this is a very, very common thing where students call me and they go, "Sir, my Excel or my Access is broken.
It's showing hashtags.
It's not showing anything. Showing me hashtags."
Yeah.
What that hashtag means is that there is something there, but you do not have enough space to show
see it.
And we chose long date. So all I'm going to do there is auto size my column by double clicking. And there we go. There is my long date. So if you get hashtags, don't panic. Just make your column wider. And it's going to work just fine. Okay. The next SKNMI, it was 2 hours work. Let's make this person a hard worker. 180. This one
550 cents, something like that.
Yeah. This is a MD. Yeah.
Okay. And voila. Ran 55,000.
No, hang on, that's a bit much of a rate per hour.
Imagine that rate per hour, sir. We'll be rich.
550. It's going to make him 550. Imagine you got that per hour. You need to work for government. And again, 25/06/2021. Okay, so I now have 2 tables. I've got table movie staff details and I've got table salaries. I'm going to save salaries. I'm going to double check it in design view. Short text, number, currency, date and time. Now, the reason we do this is if you try and put text where it says currency, it's not going to work. If you try and put text where it says number, it's not going to work. So I'm going to close these 2 tables. Or let's first have a look at them. We have here where they work, the branch, the first name, the last name, the email address, the job title, and so on and so forth. If I go to the salaries table, change to data sheet view, I have hours worked, rate per hour, month cutoff date. There's no name there. Do you see that? So the primary key
needs to be set here, yeah.
Is identifying that. So I'm just checking that SKNMI is the primary key, because that is going to identify after we create our relationship. Let's go to the relationships. So you will not know in the salaries table who this is. The only way you know who they are is by their primary key. And we are going to link this. This is why it is called a relational database. I'm going to close these two. So I've got my two tables, staff movie details and salaries.
And salaries. Something about create,
Okay.
I think.
Where is my relationships gone here? Database tools.
There we go.
Relationships. Okay, so I think students, what you want to do as well, don't panic. We don't go into access that deep. But as you go along, just have a look under each menu. Don't panic. Just look carefully for what you're looking for. I'm going to go to something called relationships. And it's actually telling me there, defines how the data in tables is related, such as ID fields or name fields. Name is a bad one. In different tables that should match. Now, I'm going to give you the rule here. Do I have text pad open? No. Let me open Notepad so I can write the rule down for you. Okay. Format, font. Let's make it a bit bigger for everybody. 22. Okay. And I'm going to write the rule here before I create it. We have a primary key, which we've just spoken about, like your ID number or your student number, is generally a number that uniquely identifies you. We have something called a foreign key. Now, this foreign key is the following. Let me write the definition. I don't think I spelled foreign correctly, but it doesn't matter. A foreign key is a primary key in another table. So I must link the only two things that are common in these two tables, and we'll have a look at it now, is SK and MI. So a foreign key must be a primary key in another table. Okay, it's just a rule that they have. So I'm going to click here on relationships. And I've got an option here to add tables. I'm going to add both of my tables. I can double click salaries and I can double click staff details. I'm going to move them around. I actually would like it in that order. And I'm going to move him down. So when you get a big database with 10 tables, you will see them all here. Now, there is your primary key. This is going to be your foreign key. What we do is we drag and drop. And it's asking me to edit relationships. As long as they are both the same, you're good to go. If they are different, no, you have made a mistake. Okay, it violates the database rules of a foreign key is a primary key in another table. So where it says edit relationships, this must be the same as this, and you just tell it create. And you will see what it has done. It is linked SNK KMI here, SKNMI here to SKNMI here, and I can move this around. They are linked now.
As long as they're linked.
As long as they are linked.
There we go,
This is
sir.
called a relationship. Now, the purpose of a relationship is, and this is, you need to think about this. Did I put the first name and last name in this table? No, I didn't. I don't need to. I don't need to put the first name and last name in that table. I just join it with a SKNMI so that I know who I'm talking about. Number one, staff SKNMI number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. The purpose of creating this relationship is I don't have to put the name here again and the branch here again and all of those details here. I just know this person by their staff number. So it helps me keep the database simple and short. And that is one of the purposes of a relationship. The other purpose it serves is if I delete Nancy out of the database, it will delete the other information that is related to her. But don't worry too much about that for now. Yes. Is there a question?
Is there a question, students?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
we're
listening.
Yes. Can you please repeat the last part where you connected each table?
You want me to show you how I connected?
Yes,
Yes,
sir. Can you repeat how do you connect the two tables in a
Oh,
relationship?
how do I connect them? Okay. If you make a mistake with your relationship, you can click on it and you press the delete button. Okay. The relationship is gone. Yeah, I'm going to do it over.
Okay.
It's very easy. It's drag and drop.
Sorry, sir. To the beginning,
Yes.
not from here. To the beginning, how did you get the relationship arrows that you
Oh,
put
okay.
this?
I'm with you. All right. I understand. Let me put this back here. I was on home, remember? I went to, I think it was database tools.
That's correct, sir.
And there is your relationships button. Was
What's
that
the
the
key
question?
here? The key here, before you create your relationship, you must make sure that both your tables are closed. That's why it's so blur over there, the word relationships. So, because one table is open. So when you create your relationship, you must make sure that both tables are closed first in order for that word relationships to be unblurred in the data tools, in the database tools. Can you see?
I think
Yes,
that
Does that
is,
make
I think
sense?
that is a very good point, Mr. Pretorius. When working with Access, before you do something new, save everything and close your tables. Close your tables, close your tables, close your tables when you finished working with them. The same with queries that we're going to do and so on and so forth. Okay. To the student that asked the question just now, we were on home. I went to database tools and I clicked on the relationships button there. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. If you notice here, this is our primary key and this is our foreign key. That's all you need to know, and they are the same thing. And they just help us identify as we go through tables. If I had a table number 3, I would link SKNMI and SKNMI once again. So I would have another link to another table here. But I think I'm going to stop there with this lesson today. We've been on for about 1 hour,
I think we
26
covered quite a lot
minutes.
today, sir.
I think we have covered quite a lot. What I'm going to do now, and I would like you to watch really carefully. That's my relationships. I've created them. I'm going to save them. Right-click Save. So there's a lot of right-click on the headings and a lot of saving going on. Right-click, Close All. Everything is closed. If I click on Relationships again under Database Tools, it's just going to show them to me again. Right-click, Close. Okay, so I have created 2 tables and a relationship between those 2 tables, between the primary key and the foreign key. And to repeat, a foreign key is a primary key in another table, so it is basically the same thing. Remember that. Don't join the first name to the last name or anything like that. You will be making a mistake. Okay, it must be the same thing. So I have my 2 tables here. I'm going to open them. So they're sitting open. Now, don't get confused here. Salaries, table movie star details. That is the name of the table. And like I said, before you do anything, you close that. So, and students do get confused with this, so be careful. Listen carefully. That is the names of the tables. I would now like to save my database so I can hand it in. I'm going to choose here, File, Save As. And I have that option. Save the whole database as. We did that at the beginning. We named it. But now I would like this thing on my desktop so that I know where it is so that I can hand it in. So I'm choosing Save Database As. Then now I've got to go down here to this almost hidden button. Save As. There is its name. I'm going to choose Desktop. Let me just fix this information here. Nine-digit surname, your group. Let's say it's Wellington, and it'll be full-time Wellington. Choose my desktop, and I'm going to save it. Okay, I'm now going to close my whole database. I'm going to close the questions. Let's just browse the questions again quickly. Check that we've covered everything, and plus a little bit more in terms of relationships. Open as blank desktop database, naming the database, creating a table, fields, data types, and field properties. I think we worked quite a bit with. When it says here, determine the appropriate field as below. Okay, that is saying, student, please choose the right one. So if it's a date, you choose a date If it's text, you choose text, and so on and so forth. Assign an appropriate ID key. That is our primary key that we are talking about there. Generally should be a number, and it uniquely identifies that record. It is not something that can repeat like a first name or a last name. That is a very poor choice of a primary key. You could choose it, but you're not really going to get marks for that. Save your database access table, which we have saved the tables, and we have now saved the database, and upload, submit it to the activity submissions. I just want to quickly, before we go there, jump into Blackboard and show you here. Well, where is it? Activity submission practicals only. Okay, it's under theory tests.
Thank you, sir. This is your submission place, people.
All access submissions. Access table submission.
And they're all in there.
Activity 1 submission. Now you can upload. I must mention, because last semester we were opening and closing and opening and closing, and this student had load shedding, and that student had a problem, and this student was sick, and this student could not get to a resource, and so on and so forth. We have left all these activities open until the 31st of October. That is a long time. That is a very long time that we have left it open. It does not necessarily mean that is the due date and you try and do everything on the 30th. It's not going to work. Okay, so you should be doing the activity, like the table activity, this week and then upload it. If you have a problem, you can upload it next week. If you have a problem next week, you can upload it the following week. So that is the reason we have left them open. But don't leave it week by week and try and leave it all towards the end, because this is for practice. This is going to help you pass the exams and the class tests. So try to do it in the week that you do. Yes.
What Mr. Smuts is basically saying, students, you cannot submit this in October if you're writing access and you're doing an access assignment, which must be due on the 20th of August. So in other words, all your tables, all your queries, your forms, your relationships, your imports and exports, all the access and Excel stuff must be submitted by or before the 20th of August. We only kept it open till the 31st because for the end of the year, you might still write again a big exam on this. But that doesn't mean it must be submitted so towards the end. So if we do an exercise or 2 exercises a week, it is in our minds, our students should submit those exercises within that week. Thank you, sir.
Correct. Correct. Thank you,
Sorry,
Mr.
Mr.
Pretorius. That makes it clear. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you may ask the question.
Like me currently, I don't have access in my laptop, so it's gonna be a bit difficult for me to practice now. So I try to download it. I don't have money to buy it. I try to go to CPUT. It's closed. I don't know. It's gonna be a bit difficult for us to practice.
What you need to do is you need to go to Microsoft.com, register an account there, and you may download from there a trial version that I think lasts for 60 days. So it's quite a big download, but you download it's like a trial version. It's a test version that you can download and work with. It's going to be a bit of a problem at the beginning while all the students find somebody with a resource who has access or they are able to download it. I know it's difficult. CPUT does not offer it out. They offer the online 365 access. which is not going to help you very much as it's short of features.
So you say I have to
So
go where?
Microsoft.com or Microsoft.co.za.
Mr. Smith, I need to add one more thing. Please,
Sure.
sir. Students, you might gonna experience problems when you upload your Access activities or even the assignment on Blackboard. So what Mr. Smuts and I suggest is the following. Zip, zip, zip. Remember, sir?
Yeah, you have to zip Access when you upload it. So when we're talking, before you go submit and choose your file, you must right click send to compressed zip folder. So let's have a look here. My Access database, here it is. It's on my desktop. I can't upload this. It's not going to work. I can't email this. It's not going to work. It won't allow you to, because Access can carry viruses. That's why. Just very simple. Right click, send to compressed zipped folder.
And voila.
Here it is. And this is the one that you upload. Remember, I saved it on my desktop, so I can open my database again. And what I recommend you do before you upload is open your database, check that it's working, go to database tools, check your relationships. I'm happy with everything. I'm going to close the database, and now I zip it and then I upload it. And where do I do that? On Blackboard.
Same place, same steps.
Same place. Let me go home, show you once more. So we're downloading it under content. We download it under content, but we upload it under
activity submission.
Activity submission. I had a question from Miss Morris this morning. Are these activities for marks? No. You're not going to get assigned marks for these activities. Why are we doing that? Because you are practicing, guys. Okay, the activities are to practice to pass the real thing. Personally, Mr. Pretorius might be different. I don't know. Miss Morris might be different.
I agree,
but
sir.
It's unfair to hand out marks for practice work. You know what I mean? Because that is where you make your mistakes. That is where you make your mistakes. So I consider it unfair. So we only hand out marks for exams, assignments, and class tests.
There we go. Now, sir, one more question. Someone asked about getting the Microsoft Access on a MacBook. So I'm not too sure about MacBook, sir, unless they email CTS.
There is another program. I don't have its name. You may ask on the WhatsApp group. I think you must post your questions on the WhatsApp group about trying to get hold of Access. But no, Microsoft does not release it for a MacBook. There is something, if you are really stuck, students, and you can't download the trial and you're stuck, there is something that you can download called Open Office. But then you're going to have to be very innovative with what you do to make sure you save it in a Microsoft Office Access format that does have a database. It's called Open Office. But I think to deal with these for week 1 while we're sorting ourselves.
So students, coming back to the activity submission, the same steps, but when you upload the zip compress folder, not the access folder. All right. Mr. Smart, you there? I think we lost Mr. Smart. Students, just hang in there. Let's see what's happening. Maybe something went wrong. Because I see the camera is still on record. So maybe Mr. Smart's left and he's coming back. I'm not too sure.
Is a problem. Many of you will not have access.
Oh, there's he. He's back. He's back, guys. Richard, are you there? Oh, he's trying to share content. He's trying to connect. I think he's got connection problems. Rick? Hello? Students, I think that's it for today. Yes, I see, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. I will make a plan. So we're not sure about the MacBook story. So I'm just trying to get hold of Mr. Smuts. Thank you guys for today. Make sure that you did sign in your attendance on the chat, your name, surname, student number, and group. And you guys may leave the session. Okay, and I will. Okay, my friend, and I will make sure that I can post this recording of this video later, but I'm just waiting on Mr. Smuts because he's the moderator host. So have a good day, sir, guys. Take care. We
Doris
will
is
chat
somewhere. I
soon.
don't know where he is. Oh,
Mr. Smuts, you're connecting.
Okay.
You got connection problems now. I closed the group. They're calling it a day, and thank you, sir. They're all leaving. All right.
Okay. Cool. Done. Now, where do I find the recording?
I think you can stop the recording, sir, and it will auto upload in your recording session in Blackboard.
Sorry, sir.
So you can stop sharing and stop
Okay, I hope
recording.
so. Let's see.
No, but it will auto upload, something like that. They will give you an option there.
Okay, let's take a look out.
Any questions, students? Any questions still?
Yes, sir.
I'm listening. I'm here.
So, like, I have
Yes,
a problem with
listening.
the WhatsApp, with getting into the WhatsApp group for PCA. The main WhatsApp group for PCA.
You're breaking up, brother. I can't hear you so clearly, man.
I have a problem with getting in the WhatsApp group for
Which
PCA.
group are you?
Oh, you have a
Group
problem.
H.
In what group are
The
you,
main
brother?
group.
Yes, Group H.
No, he has a problem with WhatsApp. I just said which group.
It's group H, sir.
Yes.
It's your group. Type in your name, surname, and student number, and your cell number in the chat quickly. Then Mr. Smuts can save it.
What's
or I
wrong?
can take a photo of it. Are you there, student?
Yes, sir. I'm typing in group, sir.
Type your cell number in the group chat and your name and surname and student number. Then Mr. Smuts can add you to the group.
Connection.
I see so, sir. You can stop recording, sir. Top left corner. The recording is still in progress. I think you can stop it, sir.
Just
there we go. Thank you, Kwaba. I got it. 081 492.
Okay, that is my group.
No, sir, I'm just writing it down for you.
You can.
It's Kwaba surname, group H. 081
Okay.
492 6599. So you must add him, sir, because you're admin. Or I will type it out for you. I'll send a photo.
Okay, yeah. Send me a photo because my connection's breaking up.
No problem, sir. I will send it to you via WhatsApp. Don't forget to stop recording, sir. It's still in progress.
Yeah, I have stopped.
Oh, okay. Let me just take a photo here. Okay, and I will forward it to your WhatsApp, sir. Thank you, student. Have a good day, guys. You can leave. There's still 25 people, 24, 23, 22. Okay, guys, we chat soon.
Thank you, students. Have a good week.
Mr. Smart, looking for your name, Richard BCI, and I will send that photo to you now. All right, so I sent it. It's coming through to your WhatsApp.
Okay. My connection's gone a bit funny, but let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, students, I think we can call it a day.
We can call it a day, sir. There's 13 still that must go.
So I'm going to leave it on while it's just processing the recording.
Okay.
I don't see where it's processing the recording. Do you see?
No, you must go into Blackboard, sir, and when you go into collaboration, on your left-hand side, there will be a menu where they say it's in progress. I remember this from the facet. I saw this from the facet, so I know.
All right.
Something like that. If I go into Blackboard now, maybe I can also see the, I don't know, but you moderator, so I will check quickly.
Thanks.
Let me quickly go into it now while I'm on here. You know what I mean? I'm in my CPUT, my classroom, and let me log in quick. And in and password. Okay, and my courses 2021. And on the left-hand side, Blackboard collaboration, course tools, BB Ultra. Okay. And let's see now, semester 2, the 20 recurring. Mr. Smart's class session, it's a folder. Okay, group events, and let me just see those 3 dots. Edit setting, copy link, anonymous, join. Oh, I see. Only when you leave, sir, then I think the settings will kick in.
Oh, okay.
So I see here Mr. Smart's class session introduction, and you will see 3 dots on the right-hand side, session options. And if you click on a join session,
that still says recording in progress.
Okay, so you must stop the recording, sir, on the top left side or something like that.
I did.